Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Johnson, a student and entrepreneur here at the greatest university in the world, UCF. Go Knights! Now, as you know, today I'm going to be pitching a product that I, along with a few colleagues, have been developing over the last few months. Now, my product is actually an insole that goes into either hockey skates or rollerblades or really anything like that. So, a little bit about me. I am an amateur hockey player. I go out to ice rinks a few times a month, play, just in like random pickup leagues or anything like that. And I noticed some frustration of other hockey players that I also shared was how uncomfortable the hockey skates are. Like, they are absolutely awful. You have to actually come off the ice after about 20 or 30 minutes being out there because it just hurts so bad. And so what I've developed, along with a few of my other colleagues, was the insole that goes inside. It's a lot like a Dr. Scholl's insole that you would be using for shoes, but not quite, because you have to use it for like hockey or rollerblading. So it's a little bit more stable and a little bit less comfortable. Now, I know that sounds bad, but for hockey and stuff like that, you can't have something that's just for comfort, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to be stable enough to actually play or to stop or skate correctly. So this is a more in-the-middle type of solution, so that it's stable enough to where you can still play and not really be hindered by how comfortable it is, which, is really what you need. You need that right in the middle solution. So as I was saying, my product is the insole, and it's really helpful to people because now you can go out there longer. As I was saying before, you could only be out there 20, maybe 30 minutes before having to come to the bench and stop. And here in Florida, since we don't have natural ice, sadly, I wish we did, we have to go out to ice rinks and pay for the time that we go out there. So say if we're paying $20 for 2 hours, you sit for, say, only 20 or 30 minutes, that's still $5 worth of value right there that you're missing out on, that you could be out on the ice. And this is really frustrating for some people, because after a while it does get really expensive. $20 4 or 5 times a month, that gets up there. And also, like for the community this would be for, like if you have something that's more comfortable, younger people could go out there, or kids even, like under 5 years old, they could go out there, because of course this would be for all sizes and ages. Or you could have more of the elderly demographic out there, because they already, like they have their aches and pains everywhere now, so this would just be one last thing that they'll have to worry about, would be the pain in their feet from the skates. And of course, if you can get the elderly demographic and then maybe more of the younger with the middle age, you can have whole families going out there, parents, grandparents out there with their kids, which is really just, great for families and everything. Now, getting into the nitty-gritty of all this, the business model for me would just be pretty basic. Of course, you'd have your big sporting goods stores, which would really be like what you're trying to target for this, because with those you get your name out there, you get exposure, and that's really fantastic for a startup group in the sports business type of area. You'd also be looking at pro shops, which is another huge thing, because they can actually rent it out or they can sell their product. So they can rent it by, of course, they'd buy it from me, the producer, and then they'd have it and they could put it in the skates. They rent out the skates for a little bit more because, of course, they're more comfortable to families, whatever. So then I'd be getting the money, or they could sell it in their pro shop. So then it would be there, so if someone wants to buy it, instead of having the rental, it'll still be right there that they can pick it up. And of course, online, because who doesn't use online shopping? Amazon, everything would have that. Going off of that, 1 second here. The opportunity for this market is absolutely insane, because only a few major companies are in the hockey exclusively area, and so that really makes this a great area to look into, because there's only, like I was saying, the 2 or 3 big ones, and then after that there's really no one in there to stop me from doing whatever I have to do. So I got a really good niche right in there, like for hockey and all that stuff, because the sports business area has been growing really, really fast over the last few years, 10% each year over the last decade. And off of that, the globalization, which is great for hockey because, of course, it's played in Russia, China, all over Europe, Canada, and North America. That's huge because that has been going up about 3% each year in the last decade, and that's really huge when you look into how big the world is and everything that's in it. So the more this globalizes and the larger the sports community gets, the bigger this will have an impact on everyone using it. And as I was saying, the competitors, there's really no one. The only other thing is that some of the big companies do have insoles as well, but those are about $80 to $90 because they're more of a professional type. Mine, as I was saying, is more of the middle ground. So mine would be about $30 to $40, where theirs is the 80 to 90. So mine is for more of the amateur player, the like the older demographic, the younger people who don't want to spend a whole lot on it, but still see the value in being able to have it instead of